In this video, I want to share with you some mistakes to avoid in your next presentation. These are mistakes that you've probably seen. Maybe you've even made them yourself. But in this video, I'll share with you how to let go of the ideas from the past, especially the ones that don't serve you when you're giving a presentation, and we'll take a look at the source of authentic confidence. So stick with me to the end, and I'll share with you some insights into how you can find a new level of confidence no matter what audience you're in front of. Because if you're sharing your story and you're standing up in front of a group, you want to give yourself every possible opportunity to succeed. My name is Chris Westfall. I'm a keynote speaker, a business coach, and I work with media personalities, political leaders, executives, and aspiring leaders to help them to deliver messages that land with impact. And one of the mistakes that presenters often make is playing a game of gotcha. And this is a game you're probably familiar with, and here's how it goes. The speaker takes the stage and says, "Do you know?" Or, "How many of you would guess?" Or they say, "Show of hands, without Googling, how many of you could identify the island of Sri Lanka off the coast of Africa?" Gotcha. It's not Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is off the coast of India. The island off the coast of Africa is the location of the 2005 Disney classic, Madagascar.
Move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Yeah, I like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Madagascar is the gotcha. Have you ever been in a presentation where somebody played a game of gotcha? Presenters do it because they want to establish that they have a level of authority or knowledge that the audience does not possess. And it's very typical for college professors to play a game of gotcha because they're trying to ignite your imagination, but also establish a bit of credibility so that there's the speaker and the audience rather than creating a sense of connection. Which would you rather create in your presentation? A sense of credibility or relatability? What is the importance of connection in your presentation? And if it looks like credibility is what you need, isn't credibility a given? I mean, if you're looking to prove to the audience why you are in front of the audience, that seems kind of redundant, doesn't it? It's sort of like a word problem where they say, let X equal 5. X is a given, right? So if your credibility was a given, if the fact that you are in front of the room already establishes that you know something that the audience does not, namely how to be the person at the front of the room, you have a story to tell and a message to deliver that's more important than credibility. So, what would you say if credibility was not important? What would you say and share if you didn't want to play a game of gotcha, but a game of connection? Good presenters know that it's not about establishing what already exists. It's about offering insights. Sort of like Roald Amundsen. Roald Amundsen discovered the South Pole in 1911 when he led an expedition across Antarctica. Except Amundsen didn't really discover the South Pole. It was always there. He led a group that was the first to reach that destination. In your presentation, are you leading a group to help them to reach a destination that exists, but they just haven't found it yet? Good presenters, expert presenters, professional presenters know what others do not, and that is that relatability and accessibility is the key. And if you want to access some authentic confidence, consider what my friend Brant Penvidic told me. Brant Penvidic is the producer of television shows like Bar Rescue, The Biggest Loser. Here's what he shared with me. Consider how this might apply to your presentation.
First thing is simplicity. And the second thing is confidence. And you can't really have the two, you can't have one without the other is what I'm finding. And for me, the simplicity of the idea, it came to me, more than a decade ago. I was in the lobby of CBS pitching a TV show. I was waiting in the lobby for my turn to go into the pitch room with the head of the network. And out walks Simon Cowell out of the pitch room. And, he's a massive producer. And even back then, I was still as much of a peon. It was nice. We were saying hi. And I just remember this feeling of dread, like, oh, I can't believe I got to go in and pitch after him. This sucks. And then as we're chatting, he's kind of looking over my shoulder and sort of nodding, and I turn around and it's Mark Burnett. And he was going in the room after me. And so here I am wedged between these two megastars of pitching and presenting and making TV shows. And I just got this sort of overwhelming layer of panic. And I was just like, what am I going to talk to the president of this network about? He doesn't want to hear any of my stories or an elaboration of why I think this idea is so exceptional and all the elements. That's not what he wants. And so we're being ushered into the room, and I was just like, I got to get out of here. I just got to get this over with. So I was like, I just got to tell him what it is and how the show works and why I think it's a good show for CBS, how we're going to produce it, and get out. And then I literally did it. We were in and out of that pitch meeting in like 11 minutes total. Confidence is the value you believe that you bring to others. Chris, if I wanted you to come out for dinner this weekend and come, I'm bringing it. I know you'd say yes, but in general,
I'm
and you're
ready.
going to have to fly, and like it's a whole thing, right? Cancel your other plans, come out to dinner. I'm having a chef come in, right? If my chef was Gordon Ramsay, I'd say, hey, I have Gordon Ramsay. And you'd be like, I'm there. And I wouldn't pitch you on the idea of who Gordon is or why he's so great or what kind of food he's making. I wouldn't need to, because I'd be like, hey, I got Gordon Ramsay.
So, do you have Gordon Ramsay? And if you do you need to spend time establishing your credibility? Authentic confidence comes from one place and one place only, and that is inside of you. So, in every presentation, there's the story that I share and the story that the audience hears. Which do you think is more important? Which do you think it matters most, the audience or the presenter? The answer is always the audience. And so there's a reason that they call it giving a presentation, because your presentation is a gift. It is a service that focuses on your audience. And when you shift your focus off of yourself and onto what really matters, you access confidence. You know why that is? Because you're not looking at your insecurities. You're not self-conscious. You are looking in the direction of selfless service. Every time I give a presentation, every time, I'm nervous. Of course I am. I care about my profession. I care about performance. Maybe you do too. But those nerves are sort of like that gray chair right there that you see behind me. My nerves are always here. I'm just not looking at them. I'm not trying to control them or manage them or hide them or take them out of the room so that I can't see them. No. And I know that it's there, but I put my attention on what matters, and that is on you. It's no secret. Where you put your attention is where you find your results. And if you find yourself being nervous in a presentation, where are you putting your attention? When you're giving a speech, there are two questions that if you ask yourself these questions in the middle of your speech, it will crash and burn, and you will access the exact opposite of confidence, which is insecurity. And here are those two questions. The first one is, who am I? And the second, how am I doing? Who am I? That existential question. Who am I to be sharing these ideas with you? Who am I to be recording this video? Who am I to be at the front of this room? Well, the answer is you are someone with a perspective to share. And if you would please get out of your own way and out of your own head and share that message that we've all come to listen to, that might be the greatest service of all. And the second question, how am I doing? It's the wrong question to ask and the wrong party to ask it of, if that makes sense. Real question is, how's your audience doing? How's your audience doing? Where you put your attention is where you find your results. And if you want to access true self-confidence, it begins when you access what matters most, and that is your audience. Something that I've learned in my work with political leaders, media personalities, keynote speakers, executives, and aspiring leaders, one of the things that I've discovered is that if you really want to step on stage with confidence, take a look at the story that you're sharing. If your story, the message, could it matter more than your self-consciousness or your insecurity? It's sort of like the way that firefighters go into burning buildings. You know, even with all their training and tools, when you go into a burning building, it's a matter of life and death. And you could potentially die. It's very dangerous. The fear is quite real. because the risk is real. Now, it may feel just as scary to stand up in front of a group and give a speech. I can relate to that. But for firefighters, how do they overcome that fear? The answer is that the people that need their help are more important than their feelings of fear. In fact, it is those feelings of fear that makes them careful, that makes them go to the training, that makes them dedicated to their career. And if you're dedicated to your career, what would happen if you dedicated yourself to going beyond just giving a speech to the audience? That's right, going beyond a speech. This is what my coach told me when I was starting my speaking career. I hired a coach and I worked with him, brilliant speaker, Hall of Fame speaker in Canada and in the United States. And I said, I want to give more speeches and I need you to help me. And he goes, why? And I go, well, because it's my career and I want to give more speeches. That's what I paid you for. That's why I'm here. He goes, no, that's not what I'm asking. Why do you want to give speeches? What kind of a question is that? Are you playing a game of gotcha? I want to give speeches because that's what people will pay me for, and that's what people need. They need speeches, right? They need presentations. He said, no. What people will pay you for and what people want isn't just a speech. Lots of people can give speeches. They want an experience. An experience. What happens if you go beyond giving a speech and you create a memory? What happens if you go beyond just giving a speech and you create an experience that allows people to access insight and to see things in a new way? I said, why is insight and seeing things in a new way so important? He said, because that's where change comes from. And I thought about that and I realized that it's really true. That what takes a presenter from making mistakes to making an impact is understanding the ability to create insight for an audience and to deliver an experience that goes beyond the commonplace, that goes beyond just an exchange of information. Information is everywhere. With Google and now ChatGPT, our ability to access new ideas is easier than ever. And yet, presenters still play a game of gotcha. The real game isn't a game of credibility. It's a game of relatability and accessibility. That's the first step towards creating insight. And the insight that your material is powerful, necessary, meaningful, and impactful. Your commitment to your message is the key to accessing self-confidence. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please share your message in a way that's powerful. Stop playing a game of gotcha. Consider that your credibility is given, because if you want to give a powerful presentation, you got to focus on your audience, not yourself. My name is Chris Westfall. Thanks so much for watching this video.